Hello, ladies and gentlemen, how you all doing? This is Conor.
I'm Mangru, hello, hello, hello.
And guys, despite the fact that Season 2 is done, we are here on Orsha North to celebrate another excellent meeting of the minds. Rang, who do we have?
On left-hand side in blue, we have ourselves Curbs playing as Skiager with Vanguard income. Right-hand side, we have the Frubblord playing as 15th Scotch with a very flat income.
Well, you know what? I've heard the ladies like a flatline income.
Hey, nice
Maybe I'm
and
wrong.
steady.
Maybe I'm wrong. But you know what? I was saying to you just before we got this started, that I'm kind of excited for this matchup. I feel like Skiaga, who gets overmatched in just so many different divisional matchups, could have a chance here. You seemed a little bit hesitant, but let me explain my reasoning. Rifles, you can rifle spam as much as you want to, but I'd argue that the close and firepower of the Skiaga could at least keep those guys at arm's length for a good bit of time.
Yes, I definitely agree. Scotch is a very simple division to play. You just spam riflemen, you spam those 25-pounders, and you spam a little bit of the crocodiles. But especially on a map like this, I do think 28 does have a chance, and I really like seeing the Skiaga division because they got cool things, skis included.
Man, it'd be kind of funny if there actually was a snow map and they were given movement bonuses. That'd be fantastic.
that'd be pretty neat.
But as it is, we actually have up to the north. That housing district is looking to pay host to a couple of more stewards, as well as a big push of rifles again. And you can see there was a breakout, I think, of 11 squads in the north, and they're getting absolutely shredded.
Yeah, I mean, Curb's got the 2-star Sturm Skiagers buffed up with a leader unit here, so they are absolutely shredding these riflemen. The riflemen are also 2-star veterancy, but Bren guns don't really, and the Ironfields don't really hold out compared to a bunch of Sturmgewehrs.
No, they don't. But down to the south, we actually are going to see a nice push into the trees. And while the Ski Jägers to the north are kind of keeping an eye out, down to the south, looks like they're only seeing their antagonists now. Jeez, this is what, like a company's worth of troops?
Two platoons.
Yeah, I guess depending on the size of the different organizations, you're right. But still, 12-12. Curbs did have a very early kind of territory advantage, but as you might expect, rifle spam controls an awful lot of area.
Yep, and it's very, very cheap. We've got the Churchill coming in to hopefully give him some fire support, but it's a really good push here from Frubblord. I do like how he's doing like a two-pronged assault, one along Northern Forest, one along the Southern Forest. And it's going to pretty much knock out at, Southern Hill.
Yes, it is. That Pack 36 is definitely going to be wanting some company over here, and I'm not sure he's going to get it. We are actually going to see a couple of T-34s to the north. And wait a second, we have an off-map being called in. Where's the off-map?
Yeah. I'm looking, but I can't see it.
It's northern thing. I just saw the off. There we go. The off-map's called. Now, we do
maybe it got blown up.
For the stewards, but also the sharpshooters, and they should be able to keep things at a decent length. And oh my gosh, all this stuff is being forced into either being pinned down or surrendering. This is absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's really good. And yeah, the sharpshooting's in a fantastic spot. Just hitting these riflemen left and right. And that was a good way to hold back those Stuarts so the T-34s can come in and finish
the job.
Oh, it's a plane.
Yeah. Checking back down to the south to see Frubblord's kind of counter push here. It does look like Ski Jägers are being brought in like crazy to try to stem the tide, but I don't know if they're going to get there in time to prevent these two flags from being taken.
Yeah, and especially if that Churchill, I would say, could get into a position. I mean, it's a little bit slow for it to get anywhere right now to stop the Ski Jägers. But even then, Ski Jägers only can do so much against an armored vehicle like that.
Ski Jägers at least have the heat grenades. And there's actually, in some of the Ski Jägers bring in Fausts. Actually, we saw a couple of them before, so I'm more intrigued by this Pack 36 who's just trying to kill this Churchill from, a kilometer and a half, 2 kilometers?
He's really trying, okay? He sees that 180 AP and realizes, I can't do that at 2 kilometers.
That definitely seems to be the case. I'm also intrigued to see what happens as now this T-34 is getting themselves up into the mix in the northern side. Not quite yet getting any kind of shots over here onto these stewards, but the stewards are going to be very hard-pressed trying to penetrate their opposite numbers.
Yeah, Skiaga is surprisingly like a pretty well-fitted out it's not an armored division, but it has some pretty good tanks, the T-34s, the KV-2s. I believe they have some Stoogs, if I recall. So, you know, toe-to-toe armor-wise, they can do a pretty good job against the Scotch.
Especially early on, that's for sure, yeah. Unfortunately, down south, that rifle spam just continues to bedevil the entire German line here.
Yeah. I think, like, what's making this work really well is Frubblord is buffing him up with the leaders, and he's also getting him a 2-star veterancy, which is... Well, no, he has a commander nearby, so... he's buying a 1-star veterancy and buffing him to 2, so... Or buffing him up to 3, which really increases their firepower by quite a bit.
Worth mentioning, by the way, that to the north we had another kind of recon plane being brought on in. Unfortunately, he has gone on to meet his maker. As is one of the T-34-85s, being engaged by a 6-pounder up there. So, going to be interesting to see exactly how this can be turned around as more infantry gets kind of thrown into the fray.
Yeah. You're going to see an off-map being dropped in. That is in a perfect location. Yeah, that's probably going to kill a 6-pounder and even, you know, tanking the artillery a little bit.
And the hero sharpshooters are going down, unfortunately, to that mortar strike.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys had been early MVPs.
Yeah. I'm guessing, you know, really the best play for Frubblord as this match continues is to buy a crap ton of artillery. Because I don't see enough of 15th Scottish infantry players, but you really just need to spam artillery. You don't have a lot of very good direct HE fire support weaponry, so you need to fill it out with the indirect variants.
And that certainly is the question, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh, it's just like his Northern Purse is actually going pretty well for Curbs now. He's managing to put the rifles on a run. It seems like he's going to clear the Northern Forest completely.
Well, the big issue here is to take out that 4-inch mortar.
Yes. Maybe the sniper can do that.
Certainly hope so. I hate to see the ski fusiliers being brought down into such an ignoble death. Like, not for nothing, but those guys are amazing for recon squads.
I mean, they can see the enemy and shoot them up a shit ton with a bunch of assault rifles. Really the best of both worlds.
Yes, it is. Now, the only thing I have to go and fuss about a little bit would be the fact that they do just have those heat grenades. That's it. That's our biggest beef with them. But you know what? As we inch closer and closer to Phase B, I'm not really seeing what the Scots are going to do against this. We have a resurgent push to the south, more of rifles, as well as a couple of Stuarts. But there's a Pack 40 already engaging and taking one of those out, and there's a second that Pack 36 is also going to do a ton of work too.
Yeah, it was in a really good spot. It's quite surprising sometimes with, you know, the distances and line of sight with SD2, because it sometimes throws you off. But yeah, I mean, hilltop to hilltop, that Pack 40 is a really good like engagement distance to keep that hill clear of anything.
It's so shocking to me to just watch, you know, the Crimson Tide ebb back the other direction.
Yeah, you usually don't see players actually, you know, retreat units, but this is actually a pretty good case to do so. As, you know, he's getting pushed by ski Jaeger Pioneers in the forest. You may be trying to get into some good fortified positions and engage them as they try to cross out in the open.
The Frubster is going to bring his own off-map artillery down. It's 203mm barrage looking to the north. But ME410 looking for that mortar as well. It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
And off-map going to drop in just in the same time. ME barely does any damage. But the off-map, rather, is... It still has a little bit to go.
They're more concerned about the T-34-85 surviving the 17-pounder coming in.
Oh, yeah. Pretty nasty piece of kit.
Certainly is. Ooh. You said that beacon coming down on top of the German mortar positions, looking for, and probably going to kill that 6-pounder pretty quickly. Those aren't vetted up at all, are they? No, they're not.
Oh, this is just base. And we're actually seeing a grill. That is... I don't know the last time we've seen a grill count, but we need to turn on those fryers.
T-30-45 goes down to the north, 17-pounder does take it out. He's looking down to the south. Yeah, that, you know, complex is just... It's falling apart completely.
Yeah, this Curbs is a lovely like base of fire support on that like middle hill. The Guerrilla is completely, hitting up the Rifleman. And that thing does not mess about with its 7.5 HE damage. That'll take a huge chunk out of anything, really.
But here we are into phase B, and rifles continue. I guess the question is ME410. Oh, he's chopping rounds onto that. I think the 17 pounder, isn't it?
Yep. And will the Tempest be able to get behind the plane? It seems like the answer is going to be no.
Yep.
Never mind.
Yep. The Tempest, despite being a rather out-of-date plane, I would think, by the time of this fight.
It's pretty good for the time.
Oh, okay. Well, forgive me then. I would say aviation is not my strong suit when it comes to, my armchair generaling over here. Take it back to the top. There was a Stug, but the Stug has been sent packing by another 6-pounder, and I think we're seeing another Churchill being brought on in. So, if the Scots come back, it's on the back of that Churchill, or Churchills, to be clear.
Yeah, really, if any good old Scottish push, you need to rely on other sources of firepower to, help the Riflemen get in. Pack 40 does trade with Churchill before going down, so at least takes one tank down with him.
There's a bit of irony that the Scots would have to rely on some English to help them out.
Yes, it is, Khan. Yes,
somewhere, Mel Gibson's version of Braveheart is rolling in his grave. But let's leave Mel out of this, I guess, for right now. Rifles going down into these forests. Kind of funny. The Storm Fusiliers are going to do more to just to shift the front line by being recon troops as some of the actual German infantry who's just kind of lollygagging behind.
That's a really lovely little push, yeah. I mean, it's probably best if he just kind of keeps them hidden on the hill to just maybe ambush any AT guns or tanks that try to, get in that hill for fire support position. Yeah.
Unfortunately for them, okay, they're getting away before there's stewards can get further in. Down to the south, another 410 being brought on in. I'm surprised that the Skijäger division has been so active in purchasing planes.
Yeah, I'm quite happy because they do have a pretty good air arsenal. They also have a lot of those DO strafing planes, which just completely devastate. But yeah, the 410s not getting a lot of kills, but especially that bombing run down south, putting down a lot of suppressive fire.
Yes, indeed. From that Tempest, that guy who's been just so active, coming out for a very, very, very late run. Interesting. Where are these machine guns in the north firing? Oh, okay. Don't often see machine guns really ever get used. It's always intriguing to me to see the kind of defensive positions. The ones to the north, they're putting some fire down. The rifle squad or two come down the road.
Yeah, they do have, machine guns do have a pretty surprising range of for the German ones at least, 1.5 kilometers. You can really mess stuff up, as you can see if you manage to catch them in the open. I think the reason we don't see them as much is, well, you could either take machine guns, or you could usually just take infantry support guns. And infantry support guns are just generally better in most circumstances.
So I got distracted by the fact that there's a JU 87 to the north with huge amounts of clusters. Here we go.
He goes.
Flip that coin. Flip that coin. Yep. Tempest getting brought to the top. He's probably going to get this kill. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't get this kill. I don't think the ground fire is going to be enough. That SDK I've said too.
Yeah. I think the Stuka might just have a little bit of time. Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, we got a Messerschmitt coming in, so we might see a little bit of a tiny furball here. But knowing the fighters, neither one of them is going to get behind the other.
You know what? I really have to take back what I said before. I didn't realize. I kind of forgot the Tempest was quite as quickly as a plane as it is.
Yeah, it's like a fast interceptor.
Well, the ME-109 should get some shots here. And gets the kill.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely a little bit Really should have pulled back the Tempest earlier. Especially with, you know, fighting over enemy territory. Especially when they have an anti-aircraft gun. We've seen another off-map up north, and that is, once again, a pretty good position. The riflemen may not want to be area when it happens.
I'm actually more intrigued by the fact that we have a Henkel 111 just letting go of, what, 1,400 pounds of HE down to the south?
Yep, it's a pretty heavy bomber.
Lucky for the Scots. It was very lucky for the Scots. They took a rather detour approach there.
Mm-hmm.
But your artillery key is coming down now, and I'm wondering if these rifle squads are going to be able to capture these tanks. My soft hope is no, because I always kind of hate tanks kind of getting artillery stressed into a surrender. But it doesn't look like that's going to be the option.
Oh.
Indeed, we're going to see instead Stewart's going down. Where's that 17-pounder? He's still sitting pretty in the back.
Yeah, doesn't have a line of sight on those T-54s. He really only has a good view on both of the road approaches. Yeah, it's like 14-10. You know, Kerb's got a pretty good position up north and down south. I mean, usually this map, it's, you know, always just comes down to fighting on the flanks. But, yeah, I mean, Frubblord is still pushing, and knowing 15th Scotch, he's probably not going to run out of stuff. Probably has riflemen for days, and the riflemen up north are just going for the home run, it seems.
It's certainly a strange call. I guess he's maybe trying to put him into the trees super quick. Yep, yeah. He's going after the tanks. He's desperate to get those tanks.
That was like a really good maneuver with those riflemen. Now, right when the off map, you know, drop down, dress snare, everything, rushes in the infantry column, and he's gonna nab himself 2 flags with, you know, barely any casualties for it.
Oh, don't worry, the casualties will come.
Mm-hmm.
Starting right now, in fact, as a squad's gonna get forced into a very, very rapid retreat.
Yeah.
As he starts to get shelled by his own artillery. JU-87 coming back for more, looking for the Churchill in the south. We see 2 for 2.
Coming in, I have a feeling he's probably going to get it. Might even get an infantry transport, who knows?
Ooh, that's going to actually be rough.
Yes, he does!
Somehow he kills the truck, but not the infantry squad.
Yeah, they managed to bail out just in the nick of time, it seems.
Yikes. But geez, you know, just as soon as he kills one Churchill, another kind of like combat group comes up to the north.
Mm-hmm.
It does not seem to matter. You cut off one head of the Hydra, and, well, Winston comes back, no matter what.
This just keeps... Yeah, so many, you know, riflemen and Churchills galore, you know. Really put the Red Army to shame with their infantry spam.
It certainly seems that way. Ooh, another one's coming in. So the new one comes in. I believe the other one's going to check out pretty quickly. I think that's the last 203 off-map barrage. Yeah.
I'm guessing. And a pretty good spot as well. Alright, yep, JU-87 coming in. And that's probably going to be a dead Churchill. Frubblord are probably maybe going to start investing a little bit in some ground-based anti-air. He's got the Tempest coming in, but, you know, the Stuka's so slow, it's probably going to have a hard time.
Well, I would think the Tempest would go after maybe the 410, because there's less of a chance of it just not getting any kind of gun run on it.
Yep.
But nope, he's forced to fall away. Interesting. But a small group of rifles going through the trees to the southern side of that northern flag there. Not really seeing the success that I would expect, but as we inch closer and closer to Phase C, the question, of course, is what does Ski Jaeger have left in their deck?
That's a good point. Ski Jaeger is not usually a good C-tier division, especially if you did take them with Vanguard income, which most likely Kerbs doesn't have, you know, a whole lot of C-phase units in his division, so and it comes to attrition warfare against Scots, it's probably going to be looking pretty hard for Kerbs.
Then again, that's kind of Kerbs' playstyle too. Kerbs is one of those guys I feel like he wants to go for the throat as early as possible, and
yes.
Who can blame him? 17-pounder continues to engage the T-34s to the north. I am forever surprised that more people don't take 17-pounders. I can kind of understand why, because why spend the extra, AP that you don't have to? But I always feel like those kind of heavier anti-tank guns are not as often represented, especially on the Eastern Front.
It also helps when you're fighting against a huge panther blob.
Yeah, that's also true. That's very, very true. Now, down to the south, we don't have a huge panzer blob. In fact, what we do have is we have just a couple of little cute honey stewards. But those pop guns and those machine guns are still no joke.
Mm-hmm. But they're gonna get killed by more clusters, because Curbs is just bringing out the Air Force en masse. He still has a bunch of those T-34s. I am sad that we haven't seen a KV-2. It's like that's like one of the big reasons to play Skiega, is to be able to use that massive derp gun on stuff.
Yeah, but why derp it if you can just dunk it?
Yeah, from above.
Yeah.
The safety of the cockpit with 32 50-kilogram bombs, which we're about to see down south.
Yes, sir. And the mortars are actually trying to shell it as well. So, I mean, it doesn't matter what's happened. This southern approach is just not going to go well.
Nope.
Steel rain. Well done. Jeez. I kind of want to count air-to-ground kills, because there's got to be at least a half a dozen, maybe approaching a dozen at this point.
Yeah, the planes have been real MVP so far for Curbs at the moment. I'm thinking for Frubblord, like, he's kind of fallen into what I see a lot of 15 Scots players do, is that they keep just buying riflemen and tanks, but if we look on his side, he doesn't have really any artillery, and you need to like spam like a dozen 25-pounders if you want to get anything done. You need that rolling thunder of artillery barrages to stress out the enemies, so your crappy riflemen without AT weaponry can actually push tanks and capture them.
Actually, we're going to have the absolute best run just now from a Ju-87, or the absolute worst one. There's a Bokers over here, but there's those 3 freaking Churchills, and he's got to know that's painting a wet target on his back.
He can at least get 2. He can at least get 2 of them. But, oh look, we actually have some anti-air now in form of a Bofors. But the Stuka, he doesn't care. He goes. He shoots. Oh.
That's, you know what? That's still terrifying, and it's still enough.
Yeah.
Even as the T-30-45s get taken out continuously by that 17-pounder, he's got to have 4 or 5 kills right now.
Yeah.
Wondering, I wonder if the mortars can shift their fire and hit that Bofors. Probably not.
Oh, the 80 mils down south?
Yeah, they're not going to be able to do that.
Probably not.
No. I just have to remind myself it's a 3K.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Typhoon's going after the artillery park himself. 2 more Ju-87s, of course.
Because why not? Why not?
I'm curious to see what happens to this Typhoon. Typhoon bomber coming in with about 500 kilograms. He's just going to skip him on in.
No, he gets forced to fall back because of the anti-air. Wow.
To the north, that one Ju-87 gets forced to push away from a float carburetor. The other one's pushing the target, stay on target, and that's a dead Churchill's got to be. Yep.
Yeah. Every time a Stukas come in, a Churchill dies. This
that's
constant.
Like the saddest thing from a children's story ever. Every time a Stuka comes in, a Churchill dies. The tooth fairy from hell, man. Like, I'm just nervous now.
Oh.
It's almost as terrifying as we have this MG42 who's just shellacking these rifle squads coming nice and close. This is Pack 36. He's like, okay, I can do it. I can do it. But he's not shooting on them.
Oh, come on. Get the shot, buddy. You got some rockets here you can use, but no, the rifles. That's a really ballsy play, the rifles.
That should not have worked.
A good one.
That was like an abuse of AI right there. But alright. But wherever we see the rifles go, it is 13-11 right now, so we might see another flag or 2 stolen for a couple of seconds.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen down south. We're seeing a bunch of riflemen trying to push on the Skiegers, and Skieger infantry is good, but they are definitely outnumbered compared to the riflemen.
Yeah, this is certainly one of those outnumbered but never outfought kind of moments.
And the mortars, I'm loving these mortars. They're just putting on constant suppressive firepower. On a map like this, artillery can be such a huge deal, especially when, you know, both sides are really playing heavily on the flanks, because all your units tend to be pretty bunched up together.
Well, it's almost as much. Oh, wow, we have the T-34 42s. Excuse me, not the 85s, but the 42s. A power multiplier that again, the Scots can't do much about. 410 comes up with the bombing run as well. Or not. But there was a bombing run there, but I guess I was mistaken.
Yeah. Yeah, Frubblord really needs some like actual artillery right now, because these riflemen, what happens is they make like a good initial push, and then they run into armor or something, and then they can't really push anymore. Rinse and repeat infinite.
Or people that shoot back.
Yeah, exactly. Like, look, we got the Panzer T-34 down south, just running into the forest. Yeah. This is not something you do with tanks, but against the Scots, like, what's they gonna have? A P-App? Bet most likely not. So you can just run around and just, you know, run over riflemen like it's like massacre mode in GTA 5.
A game I honestly never really played massacre mode. Churchill to the north, another kill goes down. It does not matter that you have a single Bofors out there. You have to do something heavier than that. We're just seeing that being proven again and again. Also, a Typhoon bomber comes in and takes out the machine gun, but at what cost? He buys it with his own life. It's been interesting to see how little, relatively speaking, tanks have done in this match, though, so far.
Yeah, the Churchills just, you know, keep getting blown up thanks to the Children's Tale. And the T-34s have been doing somewhat decent, but they usually end up dying eventually as well. It's really just been an airplane slog more than anything. Real battle of Orsa in the sky.
Yes, indeed. We actually have an off map being called back in, an HE-111. I'm not sure if he's just going to try to... I think he's just bringing him in just for, you know, not shits and giggles. But his rifle squads will not be there very soon.
Oh. They'll be very dead in just a few seconds. Or not, you know. Some of them died, but that was expected.
That's a price I'm willing to make. So how has it been that Curbs has been so effective at this? I know we've talked about the whole idea of these combat groups of rifles and Churchills not working, but what's been the secret to success here?
Air power. It's just been the constant bombing runs of just stuff hitting up these rifleman blobs and just blowing up all the Churchills, really. Just been disallowing Frubblord to make any real major pushes. I mean, Frubblord is now losing 16-8 in, you know, only 5 minutes if it keeps up this rate. Yeah, we are seeing a pretty big push actually coming in the middle, and this might actually be the best idea for Frubblord, because usually, you know, the middle of this map is very undefended most of the time, so you can make a pretty good push if you can. I mean, right now, Curbs is trying to do that with some ski Jaegers.
Curbs throws 4 squads of infantry in there against rifles.
Yeah.
Rifles are not the guys you send in to take ground. Those are the ones you take to hold it and to just kind of die.
It might just have, I think in this case, he's just going to have the numbers to beat up these ski Jaegers if he just has all of them together.
That's true. That is very true.
So many dudes.
JU-87 going in for another run after 2 Churchills to the north. This is going to be amazing.
And we got off-map artillery plane as well coming in, so real constant barrage. I do like how Curbs is pushing on Northern Hill here, trying to, you know, just capture the cusp of it. I think he's going to get a double kill. Oh my god. Gonna be dropping ride.
No, that's super lucky, that freak out in the last second.
Yes.
Extremely fortunate.
Holy
now
crap.
Also to the north, another wave of rifles. But there's still so much in the way of just like rifle pits and rifle fires from the ski Jaegers. Like, it is still rough to watch. He's very fortunate actually that Curbs has some of his infantry out of position in the northern forest, the northernmost one.
Oh yeah, it's like 2 of those ski Jaegers can't help out at the moment.
Exactly. Artillery barrage comes down. Bofors is also very fortunate that he's only barely on the edge of that right now, taking some incidental kind of firepower. Ooh, more Bofors. I didn't even see the second Bofors being brought in.
I really like how off-map artillery looks, because it's like you got the big explosion, but then you got like the smoke effect that lingers for a while. Really gives it like a, it looks devastating from up above, from the safety of our computers.
Certainly true. Now, meanwhile, Typhoon coming in with rockets. Rocket run on this T-34. It's going to be deviling the Scotch infantry for a while, but he goes down.
Yeah. Good use of the Typhoons, yeah. They're real devastating anti-tank weaponry. And we got a bit of AA. I don't know if the Typhoon's gonna... I think he's gonna get out. Messerschmitt, I think it's a little bit slower than Typhoon. Don't quote me on that.
I know it is, because Typhoon is 6 something and the
yeah, Messerschmitt's only like 590. Oh, they're bombing run.
Just in the center. Just in the center.
Yeah, just close down the rifleman. Yeah,
exactly. Exactly what you need to do. Like, just this artillery plane's being brought in just to close down this infantry blob to the south.
But Frobber's managed to capture a decent chunk of the middle with some of his riflemen, you know, bringing it back down to a 14-10, so he's still holding pretty well, but Curbs is keeping on the pressure. But once again, it comes down to the question: does Curbs have enough stuff to keep on going? I mean, he only has to hold really. Doesn't need to push too much. But I think Skier's probably starting to run out of stuff.
It certainly seems that way. Before we were seeing pushes of 4, 5, 6 infantry squads being brought in at one time. The eco's got to be a bit of a consideration as well.
It's not a huge disadvantage to Curbs.
Sure.
But, it's not ideal. But we seem to see more, like, a lot of T-34 spam now from Curbs. Just getting a lot of those 32 models.
There's a minor bit of humor I have to get with this, is the idea that we have these T-34s holding ground as rifles just kind of swarm them, but to what end?
Like, the T-34s are better on infantry in this case, because the riflemen literally can't do anything against them. Yeah. The best they can do is, like, run up to the T-34 and knock on and ask them politely to stop shooting.
You mean like you would unlisted?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Ooh, the rocket runs, though. This could be enough to take out at least 1 or 2. I do continue to feel that the rocket runs might be a little bit too powerful, but I know I'm in the minority with that. I know I'm in the minority with that. I get it. In the meantime, though, it's just a final big push. I say big, but it's about the same size we've seen consistently, of rifles to the south. And I don't know what he's looking to imagine when you have these T-34s that are still there. Yes, you've killed the attendant infantry, but you haven't done jack about the tanks.
Yeah. And, yeah, tanks are just going to completely hold out position by themselves, and the HE run going to be clearing out the position. Oh, it hits his own tanks, which is not ideal.
Ooh, now there's the ideal that there is it's a 6-pounder that killed just then?
Yep. Very tight line of sight, but, works.
Oh, well, that's what you're hoping for. Actually, wait, 4 more squads. So maybe Curbs is trying to lull him in with a false sense of security here. Yes, my friend, you've beaten me. I have no more troops left to give. Oh, these troops? Oh, I didn't even meant these guys, too.
And that's Sturmski Jaegers, so they are rather tough customers. Up north, things aren't looking... I mean... There's a bunch of riflemen behind any lines, but they can't really do much, because they're riflemen, so it's not the worst thing in the world.
The riflemen, they're meant to be surrendered.
Yeah, once again, like, we're seeing no artillery at all from Frubblord, which...
It's the biggest misstep.
Yeah, it's... You see it a lot, I find, of people who play Scotch, but you need to just keep spamming 25-pounders. You need to be that player, where people are like, oh my god, I hate artillery spam in this game, because you got like a dozen 25-pounders just constantly barraging. But that's how you gotta play Scotch, so it's really the only way you can, effectively push.
Well, that's how you take on a division that is just not a strong tank division.
Yeah.
You got to build your deck knowing you got to get rid of the infantry. And how do you get rid of infantry? The proper amount of high explosives.
Mm-hmm. Long array from the safety of your own spawn point.
Huh, I didn't even see this. There actually was a rifle push down the south central part of the area, but that's being shut down quite considerably.
Yeah, if the Sturmski Jäger can find him, because, you know, currently trying to kill the Pack 36, yeah.
Good. The activation actually on the bombs there. Very well done.
Going in for the strafing run. Don't need to be dropping in high explosive bombs, and now he still has a bunch of high explosives to mess about with.
Yes, he does. Typhoon comes back in again to clear out one of those pesky T-34s. But JU-87's coming in as well, just because I think I think we're completely tapped. At this point, we're just trying to completely tick off that infantry.
I think that's only gonna like suppress the infantry. It's not gonna like kill him because clusters. But
hey, that's fine.
At this point, I think all he cares about is actually just stressing them out.
Well, think about it. I mean, he's got to hold on for another 90 seconds. If he freaks him out and is able to aggress with his own infantry to force a surrender or two, that's icing, that's gravy, baby. But the important part here is just to keep them at harm's length. Yeah.
Yeah, it is starting to look like the Curbs is running out.
And shockingly enough, southern side, there were a couple of rifle squads that were completely pinned down, and the Ski Jaeger ran through, trying to pick him up, but the third squad prevented any kind of surrender. So I don't know what kind of power he had over those men. But the Commissar would be proud of him.
One Ski Jaeger holding the barn completely by himself. He's a little bit outnumbered in his case, but he's doing a pretty damn good job of holding. I mean, you got some Gavers.
I'm not even sure he's returning. Oh, okay. The firepower's right at the end of that building. Okay. Kind of quasi-humorously as well. Those machine guns that were in the town to the north, one of them is completely dry.
Yeah, that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, but like, how often does it happen?
Not often.
Never.
Yeah, Frubblord has actually now taken the lead at 13-11, and he barely has any points to work with. He can't really be affording to lose. Oh wow!
He's aligning. He's looking to the south. Oh, I'm gonna love this. Beautiful placements for both of them. If he even just makes them... Whoa, 16-8. Good God. How did that happen?
Look at the middle, and yeah.
That was more of a rhetorical question, but I appreciate that all the same.
Oh my God, we're seeing some artillery from Frubblord. Some more 4.2-inch mortars, which we saw one earlier. It's exactly what he needs.
But the naval buffers come first.
Not a unit that we ever see, really.
Shockingly underwhelming in this case, but oh well.
That's right, we don't really see him much anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Rocket artillery in SC2 has been, well, apart from the Andrusha, has been pretty heavily nerfed. And maybe the naval rifle 42, but that's also a thing you just never seen. Once again, we've just seen Stuka runs and infantry, because, there's nothing else to bomb. Oh, up north is actually 2 Churchills to bomb, and I think that's going to be maybe a kill.
Nah, it's not going to happen.
He's
going to miss half of them.
Yeah. Both fours are pretty strong. Holy crap, Frubblord is he's just outlasted Curbs, it seems, and he's pushing hard. He just has so many riflemen.
So what you're saying is that he embodied the spirit of the Scottish people.
Yeah, just human rage of... It's a bunch of, Suicide Scotsmen, you know that Monty Python sketch?
Oh, yes.
It's yeah.
It's the Judean People's Front, really.
You mean the People's Front of Judea?
That's true. It was the Suicide Squad no matter what, and thank God we didn't have Jared Leto on that one. Bombs to the south. And not quite getting what they were hoping for, but we might see a limping victory here.
Yeah, this is quite bizarre. I was not...
Yeah, Curbs is completely tapped.
Yeah, I mean, he's now getting machine gun teams because... And that's some Stooks. He had Stooks this entire time, but he didn't really need them until now. But I think... I mean, Curbs can still push us back because it's just Riflemen in the end of the day. Like, they can't do anything against tanks. The problem is trying to find every single one of those Rifleman squads and root them out so you can recapture the flags. That's going to be the tough part here. And also not running into AT guns.
But the AT guns, for the most part, have seemed rather unused. Yeah, we've seen a couple here and there. Yeah. You might see this half-track in the middle get taken out. Ooh, that was unlucky.
Yeah.
And that actually is a saving grace for those two squads of Riflemen. I think against all odds, we're going to see a victory for Frubblord.
Yeah, it's just... I want to say Curbs can, like, push it back, but...
I don't know that he can.
The mortars up north were definitely a pretty clutch play, because that's just clearing out that northern town. And once you capture that town, it's pretty hard to take it back, especially when you don't really have infantry to take it back.
It's definitely true. Definitely true. Yeah, that's gonna be it, I think. Good lord. Barrage me? Nope, no barrage. Okay.
Want to take us like ×2?
Sure, at 4120.
Go.
Yep. And that, folks, I think is going to be pretty much all he or she wrote.
Yeah, I mean...
Well, one last Ju-87 run to kill a couple Churchills. No, he crashes and lands right on top of the Churchill, but does not get his quarry.
Oh.
That man was going down to ride it out to the end. What a champ.
Yeah, holy crap, it's 20-4 now.
Jeez.
Completely outlasted.
I keep feeling the Churchill should be like those World War I, mail tanks with just... I don't know why. The Churchill for me is just such an unlovely tank.
It is such a ugly design.
Yeah.
Put it lightly.
You put it far more delicately than I would have.
Yeah, it's... You know, originally the Mark I Churchill had a 75mm howitzer instead of a whole machine gun. So it had like a 2-pounder gun on top in the turret, and then a bigger 75mm in the hull.
That seems a very, very weird decision.
Yeah, I think they got that influence from the Charby 1 design.
I guess I can understand why, but at the same time, part of me kind of doesn't understand why.
Yeah. Yeah, it's early 40s.
What a time to be alive.
Especially if you're somewhere in Europe.
21-3. I had never seen a -4 before.
That is insane how the tables have turned.
Hey man, but you know what?
Yeah,
you gotta see that sometimes.
Yeah, Frubblord outlasted Curbs. I'm like good job.
Genuine suppressed. Yeah. But Curbs, what a boss in trying to take this to the absolute end. He says, you know what, I'm gonna ride this out. And why wouldn't he? He was so close, victory was on his lips. I could have tasted victory for him. And at the last second that machine gun to the north, the church goes down. Bit of sacrilege there, my friends, but I guess when you're Anglican, the Eastern Orthodox doesn't really bother you. And that's going to be a victory over here for Frubblord.
Holy crap, and he actually ends up getting more kills in the end of the day. I want to see if that was a lot towards the end, and yeah, he got some pretty high-profile stuff towards the end of the match, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of tanks, a lot of vehicles.
Yeah.
But, from standouts from a kills perspective, not that many. Now, ground kills, I said I wanted to make sure I took a look at that.
For the Skiega?
Yep.
Yeah. The infantry did really well for Skiega. They were fighting off hordes of suicidal Scotsmen all by themselves.
You know, there were only 16 air-to-ground kills. Some of those were infantry. It felt like so many more than that.
A lot of the, like, high-explosive bombers were really just, like, suppression stuff more than anything. And then the Stukas could only kill, like, 1, maybe 2 tanks per run, so a little bit limited in that regard. But they held their own, like, it was really good airplay until the ground game just kind of collapsed.
Yes, yes, it was.
Yeah.
Very well played. Frubblord, I would have actually tapped out. Well done, my friend.
Same. Yeah, its replay was actually sent in to me personally by Curbs, so thanks for the replay. It's very good, and also thanks for like sending us a replay where you lose, because most people usually just send us replays where they win.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you folks never see anything of mine, if you know what I mean.
Ew.
No, I'm just kidding. In the meantime, though, another one on Thursday, another submitted replay, I believe, and super excited for that one. Any final thoughts there, Brian?
None whatsoever.
Well, folks, in that case, then I guess we'll see you on Thursday. Until then, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangru. Take it easy.